How should I start this? I guess in order to tell the story of the Cuban Assassins, I guess I have to start from where my story actually started from. This would be the only way I can tell the story of my father and myself and show the similarities, but yet the differences between us. So we're going to go right back to where it all started from the very beginning.
Live from the TV Lanes Auditorium here at Channel 4, it's Saturday Night Wrestling.
Now, my dad, he was a pro boxer before he was a pro wrestler, and he did that around, he was 18, 19 years old. And my dad would end up giving this character to play that he kind of made his own, and he kind of more or less based it upon where my dad looked a lot like the president of Cuba, Fidel Castro. And kind of took elements of Guevara, the hero Cuba, and created this character called the Cuban Assassin. And my dad would get booked for WOAY TV4 Saturday Night Wrestling, which was hosted by Shirley Love. And it would broadcast from TV Lanes Studios. And after one of the shows, one day my dad would leave to go to a diner that was right down the road called the Skyline Drive-In. And this is where my mom was working at, and this was her very first job, and that's how my dad met my mom.
you know who that is? That's the wrestlers from Friday Night Wrestling.
Really?
That's the Cuban Assassin.
What? What can I get you today?
I'd like to have some coal miners pizza and beer. Yeah. What's your name?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm Angel. You're not predicting the future.
Really?
Yeah, you're going to become a murder like 2 children. Now, my mother, Yvonne Tompkins, is the daughter of Aubrey and Faye Tompkins and was born on May 20th, 1950. Now, my mother had a very modest and rough upbringing in Oak Hill, West Virginia, but grew to be a very nice young woman, and she ended up graduating from Collins High School in 1969. My father, Angel Acevedo, is the son of Gregory and Elisa Acevedo and was born on January 27, 1941. And my father had a very modest and very tough upbringing in Puerto Rico, which he was born in Puerto Rico. But my dad became a pro boxer, and then later on my dad would turn to be a pro wrestler known as the Cuban Assassin.
Hey, Angel! What are you doing after this?
I'm going to go to the Skyline Drive-In to have coal miners pizza and beer.
Oh, is that any good?
There's a lot of meat on the pizza, but I'm not going for the pizza, I'm going for the girl.
Oh, you are building a fence.
Oh, fuck off.
Oh, okay, I'll see you later.
Adios.
Okay.
Okay, champ, let's meet. Fellas, and the tag teams that are going to be meeting each other in the ring. First of all, under the tutelage of manager, Gentleman Saul Weingroff, who is right here, ladies and gentlemen. Like to meet 2 super wrestlers, combined weight of well over 600 pounds. From Pago, Samoa, the Islanders, right here. And their challengers. First of all, the Cuban Assassin #1 at 230 pounds from Cuba. And originally from Florida, now from Memphis, Tennessee, 260 pounds, Troy Graham, right there with the beanie on. 1 fall, 15 minutes on the tag event.
Well, Saul Weingroff must have scoured the world to discover these beautiful, colorful Islanders. They're great athletes, and I'm really looking forward to this match. The Cuban Assassin, I saw wrestle last week. He's very, very aggressive. I was really pleased with his performance. Great wrestler. Bob, this should be a great match. I saw this Cuban Assassin wrestle last week, and also Troy Graham did very, very well. They should give the Islanders a pretty good battle.
Okay, Alpha starting out, of course, for the...
He brought him over that easily. You know, that Troy Graham weighs about 250.
But both the Islanders are well over 300 pounds, just solid. And I mean, when we say they are 300 pounds, that's not flab, ladies and gentlemen. They are solid.
I saw them in the ring, Bob, and they pushed that 500-pound iron just like nothing. But that's what UWA is. We try to bring athletes and wrestling to the people that purchase the tickets. I insist upon the fellas having wrestling ability, a background of wrestling, and they must stay in condition.
Yes, we should mention that all of the people in our audience here for UWA Wrestling from the television studios are invited guests of UWA. They do purchase tickets and go to the armories, the high schools, the arenas in and around Middle Tennessee, Southern Kentucky, and in Alabama, and any place the wrestling events are held, and they are invited to come here and watch the matches absolutely free from the television studios and enjoy doing same.
You know, Bob, I see some familiar faces here because every Tuesday night at the National Guard Armory here in Nashville, a lot of our fans that come to the studio wrestling here come to the matches each week.
The tremendous power of Sika was just shown there as he didn't just throw the Cuban. He picked him literally right off the ground and straight up over his shoulder. Down he went with a terrible thud. Watch him, this power.
Fantastic.
An exercise in futility, for the Cuban takes 2 elbows and he's gone.
Aren't
And
they
did a
beautiful?
wise thing. He tagged Graham.
I think I'd join him. Beautiful go behind and takedown.
He's got the rope, so that'd get him out of trouble. Or he could have been in a man with serious problems right there. BJ charging him again.
And the hair.
We're at the 3-minute mark of this match, scheduled for 15 minutes. Little pressure on the hand.
Oh, wow. He was 7 feet in the air at least. Maybe more, 8 maybe. That Sika's a big one. He's about 6'3". Sal Weingroff really watches his men. He's coached them beautifully. They are really great athletes. That Cuban assassin doesn't want any part of this.
No, he belted him 3-4 times and he didn't move a muscle. And now he's butting him in the chest.
Wow. Well, that Cuban assassin's doing some catching at this point. Oh, boy.
Oh, and he's double teamed. He goes over to bounce
Sika
off those
grabbed
ropes
him.
once again, and Sika gets him. And off the apron goes Sika, and back comes the Cuban. He tried to do it again. This time Sika reached out his arms, grabbed him from the ankles, and down he went.
Calling for a partner. And there they go.
Oh,
They bumped their heads.
That's smart. Okay, he's thrown.
Out of the ring for Troy Graham. 1, 2,
Graham.
3. I can see the Cuban
And there's the
assassin
ball.
has been defeated.
Okay.
What beautiful teamwork. These people work in unison just like a clock. A well-oiled machine, and gentleman Sal Weingroff really deserves congratulations in coaching these people as beautifully as he has.
And once again, under the tutelage of gentleman Saul Weingroff, though from Pago Pago, Samoa, the Islanders have done it again. And the time, 5 minutes and 15 seconds.
How can I help you, ma'am?
I'm here to see Angel,
Angel?
wrestler, Cuban Assassin.
Okay, give me 1 second. Sorry to bother you, sir. The young lady here to see you. What's your name?
Bonnie.
Bonnie? Yes, sir. Okay, sir. Very welcome, sir. You're down the hall up the stairs to the 2nd floor. It'll be room 13.
Thank you.
Hey, gorilla. Hey, gorilla. Hey, gorilla. Hey, gorilla. Hey, lady. I didn't know you were a gorilla lover. Over here, gorilla. Hey. Gorilla. Hey. Over here, gorilla. Hey, lady, I didn't know you were a gorilla lover. Hey, gorilla. Hey, gorilla. After my mom and my dad met each other at Skyline Drive-In, I was born not too long later on September 13th, 1970. And about 9 months and 6 days later after I was born, my sister Cindy was born on June 19th, 1971. And we traveled around with my mom and dad to a lot of different places where my dad was wrestling. And my dad was also working side jobs, and my mom was working a couple jobs. Then in 1973, we moved to Canada where my dad was wrestling, and my sister and I just had a fun time together during that time.
And Tyler is not only a very successful wrestler and bon vivant and raconteur bien connu, and etc., but he's also got a few proteges in what is becoming a stable. These Cuban Assassins have been a spectacular addition to the wrestling scene.
You know, Jack, I was here with you a couple of weeks ago. I think it might have been 3-4 weeks. I can't remember. And I was telling you about these guys. I found them in Cuba and everything. But ever since that, the people have been calling me and asking me so many questions about these guys. I wish those guys could talk English so they can answer their own phone, you know. But these two guys are in demand now all over the world. You can't keep them just here in Quebec, because I realize that now. So I don't know what I'm going to have to do. All the promoters everywhere in the world are asking for the Cuban Assassins. They're calling me. They want to know where I got them. Well, I explained that to you and the people before, so I don't want to go over that again. But one thing for sure is that look at these guys, the way they look. And I wouldn't tell the people that they're crazy, but they're a little wild, and they're hard to handle, I'll tell you that. A lot of times at night, I got to chain them to their beds when we go to nice hotels, because, you know, as you know, I always stay in nice places, and, you know, and so I take these guys with me, and a lot of times they don't want to let them in, so I got to tell them that I'm going to take care of those guys. But once I get them in the room, I got to tie them up to the bed with chains and stuff like that. You know, it's unbelievable.
Well, now, their wrestling style is what makes them so popular. I've never seen anybody. They fly through the air like missiles, well, Cuban missiles.
I'll tell you, Jack, they're great athletes. I know that you know a lot about wrestling. You've been around the wrestling professional sports for a long time, and you know about athletes, and you know that those guys are in tip-top shape. And the only thing is that it's hard to handle them. You know, you never know what they're going to do. Right now, I'm just watching them because you never know what's going to happen with those guys.
They seem almost to be trained in the European tradition of being a gymnast as well as being pretty good wrestlers, too, and quite an attraction. Thank you, Tarzan, very much, and thank you, Cuban Assassins. Gracias.
Okay.
Gracias.
Oh, yeah.
he's seen the product as this is here on the Coliseum.
Hour
Just
long?
speaking from there.
I thought this was it, but off the top rope. And that is why the IWA promoters decided to go out and tape this match in Winston-Salem, so we could put it on television along the IWA network and let the fans just see the match from the Coliseum standpoint. And of course, you don't have the time limit. On television, we're working on an hour,
right?
And so you don't. Some of these matches, you know, the last three I know at the Coliseum were hour time limits. So in every match, I think of the last three went over 20 minutes. And of course, on television, when you are restricted to an hour of TV time, you cannot have a match that goes on and on and on and on. Because of the time.
There's different times. There are 15 and 20 minute time limit matches on television.
Besides the atmosphere you were talking about that you get in the Coliseum, where you have
and you see
large
top
crowds.
And you see top matchmaking too. The promoters go all out to make sure that their matchmakers come up with exciting combinations, and that the fans will want to see and come down and get good box office results, because that's where a promoter is really at, right? He's interested in a lot of people coming down, so he's got a supply of good product in the Coliseum arena.
Got to pay those bills, like any business. And of course, we've got a great match coming up, so stay with us. You're going to see the magnificent Zulu, and he is that, against Dick the Bulldog Brower on this hour.
Big dude, yeah. Yes, he is. And there's an example. The referee should have been a little tighter in that. If they're going to, another man's going to come in, it should be a legal tag.
Like a basic claw hold there?
Yeah, it's a nerve hold that digs deep in the side of the neck and into the trapezius area.
Yeah, that's smart. Right off the top rope. All right, now you don't like to watch this.
This
not great fond of memories here.
He's got a leg grapevine on and an arm bar, and doing a good job on me. And the body weight, I probably outweighed him by maybe 10, 15 pounds. But the way he's positioned on top, it's hard. You can tell I was doing my best to get out of it. And I'm not moving very far because he's got a good leg grapevine on me. Good position. And this is an example where you can ride your man and wear him out. He's got to lift your body weight and his body weight too, right? So he's got a double workload there. Straight arm bar.
And now you've been in the ring a good 6 to 8 minutes.
Right. Good ring strategy, both assassins. A hard team to work against. Very hard team to wrestle.
Just a couple of weeks ago in the Winston-Salem Memorial Coliseum, taped highlights of the tag team championship battle between Nick DiCarlo, Johnny Powers, the current IWA tag team title holders, and the Cuban Assassins. We also want to make mention that IWA Wrestling will be returning to Winston-Salem May the 27th. That's a Friday night at 8:30 with an all-star lineup. I understand Zulu is returning, and Hez Watley, and Big Bad John, Brower, you'll be there, DiCarlo, Sohan, Danny Little Bear, who's a new wrestler to the area.
Right.
It's going to be a great program. May the 27th at 8:30. It's a Friday night. And again, you have not managed to get over, and I know you're trying to make that. Do you ever lose where you're at in the ring? Like, where is DiCarlo? Is he over here? Is he over there? My Lord, where is the man? I've got to make the tag. I'm tired and I'm hot. I need a break. I need to catch my breath. Do you ever lose exactly where you're at?
Your ring sense, sure. I think any wrestler says it doesn't is not telling like it is. If you're really positioned there and you concentrate on one thing, if you're concentrating on your opponent, you can't always keep aware of what else is going on outside the ring. But you try to as much as you can, as quickly as you can, or you don't survive in that ring. Depending on your ability to keep it all together in a tag match, you've got to take advantage of every opening and every breather. That's what makes tag team matches exciting. They originated in Australia. The formal title is Australian Tag Team Wrestling. And there's just so much more action goes on in a tag match because you can tag off and get out of that and let a fresh man come out. Here's an example. It's all on there.
Like a steamroller.
He's going to do a job of it. It's a fantastic move. Look at slingshot into the corner bucket. And building a new face there.
And again.
Another example.
This is a fantastic
Good
move.
move.
Right over the top rope and out.
That should have been the match right there.
And another
Good form smash. Good shot.
We got them both out. Here comes number one and number two. I don't know their names either. Hard to tell them apart.
Suplex. Oh, good setup for finishing move.
He came back.
Short tackles. Side. We're going to side hip lock him, and their arms locked and the top ropes. It's a freaky move. I've never seen it happen before in wrestling. An attempt at a side hip lock and almost a completion. That was the other assassin going to try to double team Nick on the floor.
All
just
four
wasn't going to
wrestlers are
happen
out
as
of
long
the
as I
ring
could walk.
And the count is on from the referee, Mr. Dodson. And now it's all over.
I don't think any of us were aware,
Right.
except that one assassin was trying to get back in the ring there,
Right.
aware of the timing that was going on there.
There was a count out. And what do you get? 30 seconds?
20 count on the
20?
floor, 10
Right.
in the apron, and a 4 count with a 5 as a disqualification on the ropes if you don't
So
break.
it's a disqualification. All four wrestlers were outside the ring. And let's see what happens.
As my dad was wrestling as the Cuban Assassin, his younger brother, my Uncle Popo, was wrestling as Cyclone Acevedo in Puerto Rico. Now my dad and his brother, my uncle, was supposed to be the original Cuban Assassins, but my uncle's wife wouldn't let him leave Puerto Rico. So the Black Panther stepped in and was a short time Cuban Assassin with my dad. Then later on, Frank Sieberstein and my dad would become the official Cuban Assassins and the one that's known today. Then later, after Frank would quit wrestling, then Jack Kruger would step in and he and my dad would become the Cuban Assassins. In 1988, Champagne Jerry Moore would team with my dad to create the Cuban Commandos. Then in 1999, I would team with my dad and we would create the new Cuban Assassins. And then later on, my son, Quentin Acevedo, and my nephew, Blake Salmon, would team with me to create the Cuban Dynasty. Are you following along yet? From all the Cuban Assassins, the different members, basically a family tradition other than Champagne Jerry Morrow, but let's not get ahead of ourselves right yet. Let's continue the story with the Cuban Assassins, my dad, Angel Acevedo, and Frank Sieberstein. In 1975, my dad and my mom decided to bring me and my sister Cindy back to West Virginia to stay with our grandmother. And my dad continued to travel around different places in his professional wrestling career. And we would never see our dad except for maybe 1 week out of a year. All this time, my dad's wrestling all around the world and making a name for himself in the world of professional wrestling. This is a sacrifice that my dad was making to try to become a pro wrestling superstar. Frank, remember to tell Valerie that we have to go to Japan and Hawaii. Okay?
So you're going to Japan, mate?
Yeah.
If you need a manager, think of me, mate.
Okay then.
Hello,
Hello, how you doing?
Angel?
Yeah, I am. I'm up in Calgary. I flew up from Hawaii.
Calgary?
Yeah, I'm in Calgary. Frank, he quit.
He quit?
Yeah, he quit. Frank flew in Valerie to Hawaii and they want to stay there, so I flew to Calgary by myself.
When are you coming home?
Well, after Calgary, I have to go to the Maritimes for a meal and then to Japan. And then after Japan, I come home. It should be around October.
In October, I only get to see you 2 weeks out of a year.
Yeah, I know, I'm sorry, but you know, that's my job and that's what I have to do. But I promise I'll be home in October and I'll be there to see Richie and Cindy, okay?
Okay.
Okay, I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Love you, bye.
Who's that?
My children.
Have you told her about us yet?
No, not yet.
Why not?
I'm worried about Richie and Cindy.
Well, let me take your worries away.
Daddy.
Hey, how are you? You guys miss Daddy, huh?
Yes.
Huh? Daddy miss you. Guess what? Daddy got some candy for you. Here's some candy. Hey, go get your mother, okay? Huh? Richie, this is the jab, this is the upper hook, okay? Okay, now you try to hit me, okay? Richie, you're supposed to throw, oh, Richie. Oh, you got me. Richie, you got me good. Oh, Richie. Oh, you got me good, Richie. I remember my stepdad, DJ, Don J. Dempsey, told me this. When my mom and dad were still together, and my mom wasn't stupid. She knew that my dad only coming in 1 week out of a year, and even though he's traveling around different places, but he predominantly stayed in Canada, mainly in the Maritimes for Emile Dupree's Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling and for Stu Hart's Calgary Stampede Wrestling. So my mom knew that he was seeing somebody else, and he was seeing the woman that would become my stepmother, Pat, and she had a son, which would be my stepbrother, Sean, and she and my dad had a daughter, Angie, which would be my half sister, and I consider Sean and Angie my regular brother and sister. So, but during this time, my dad come in around 1980, when the last time we would see him, and he was going around trying to find my mom because he thought she was seeing somebody, and he was trying to catch her at different bars, and she was seeing somebody. And my dad took this taxi cab and having this taxi driver driving my dad around trying to catch my mom at a bar with somebody else. Little did my dad know, little did he know that the taxi driver was the guy that my mom was seeing, which would be my future stepdad, DJ. It's kind of funny. DJ told me he was scared, but it's a funny story knowing that my future stepdad was driving my dad around trying to catch my mom cheating on him, and here the guy my mom was seeing was actually the guy driving my dad around. Okay, now Daddy's gotta go, okay? I love you guys. And I'll call you guys when I get to Canada, okay? Okay, love you guys, alright? Alright. I'll be back. I see you guys later.
The Cuban Assassin working over Chris Pepper. Referee Raul Gauguin making sure that the hole is not a chokehold. 1-2. And again, Chris Pepper still has enough life to keep it alive here in this match of Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling. Chris Pepper with an elbow and another one off the rope. Down goes the Cuban. And up goes Chris Pepper, but look out, the Cuban's gone. Count of 1, 2, and a kick out. And it looked like Chris Pepper had met his maker twice, going off the ropes, but the Cuban Assassin not able to get that very important 3 count. And the Cuban now. A reversal by Chris Pepper on the Cuban Assassin. Look out! The Cuban. Chris Pepper has some of his own to get back. Up and look out. On the neck breaker. That is a good finishing hold for the Cuban. 1, 2, and 3. That's it. That's all she wrote for Chris Pepper. The Cuban Assassin with that neck breaker off the ropes, getting some extra leverage, and according to the fans, using the trunks to get a little additional leverage, and that's the end of the match. We're back with more wrestling on Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling.
While my dad was still wrestling around the world and trying to make a name for himself in the sport of professional wrestling, my mom was raising my sister Cindy and myself, and she had to sacrifice to make ends meet and try to provide a home and a roof over our heads, because my dad wasn't sending that much money back home, so she did the best for my sister Cindy and myself to give us a good upbringing and try to make us happy and try to keep a family-like style with us. So my mom sacrificed a lot to help raise my sister and myself. When my sister Cindy and I were kids, our mom decided to send us off for a couple of weeks to a church camp, and I had an experience when I was in church camp. I just recently started talking about this experience, and I'm going to include it in this docufilm because it was an experience that changed my life. It was a Bigfoot encounter I had, a Bigfoot experience, and you heard me correct, it was a Bigfoot experience. While I was at church camp, there was a friend of mine named Danny, and Danny was my bunkmate, and the bunks wasn't like bunk beds, they were just beds across from each other. And the rule is you had to wake your bunkmate if you had to go use the restroom, because we were in cabins and you had a bathhouse, which is where the restroom facilities were, and that's where Danny needed to go. So we had to wake up the camp counselor to let him know what we were doing, and he gave us a flashlight to go to the bathhouse. And I remember having a good time up there, me and my sister, and playing with all the kids, but this encounter was something I'll never forget.
I'm not doing anything.
Danny, stop doing that.
I swear I'm not doing anything.
Let's just go to the restroom.
I'm not.
Danny, stop trying to scare me.
I'm not.
Danny, stop trying to scare me.
I'm not doing anything. Bear!
I remember when Mom and Dad had separated, and Mom was taking down these pictures with Dad and Frank with these tag team title belts, which were the Stampede Wrestling International Tag Team title belts. And I asked her what she was going to do with them. She said she was going to put them away, and I asked her if I could have them. So she gave them to me, and I hung them up in my bedroom wall, and I would look at these pictures for a long time, just daydreaming and imagining that I was my dad's tag team partner with these tag team belts. Little would I know that in the future I would become my dad's tag team partner. Around 1988, I really got heavy and involved into working out and getting myself into a good physique. I got myself real good in shape and muscular and a good physique. And I tried to keep that, and that's how I kind of started off in pro wrestling, was getting this physique, and I was really proud of it because I worked really hard in the gym. It took me 6 days a week, 3 times a day, and different training methods and supplements to get a physique, and I was really proud of it. When I started wrestling, everybody thought I was going to be nervous in my first wrestling match, but little did they know that in 1988, a year prior, because I started wrestling in 1989, but a year prior, in 1988, I did this Chippendale-like routine. 4 guys, me, David Smith, Joe Tuck, and David Goff. And we did the 3rd annual Johnny McCarty benefit show at the Oak Hill High School in our auditorium there. And it's I got rid of my stage fright just doing that, and was not nervous in my first match at all. I just didn't know what I was going to expect, and I was under the mask when I was the Super B at that time. And I started wrestling in 1989, and but you know, after graduation from Oak Hill High School in June 2nd of 1989, my dad flew me up to Canada, and he didn't want me to have free living. He thought I should start paying my dues. Threw me under the mask of the Super B, and that's where my pro wrestling career started.
Richie, try not to be too nervous. Just go out there and relax. You'll do fine.
Okay.
Now just remember, take your time.
Okay.
Richie, this is the real world. This is the big leagues. You're on your own, and I'm not gonna watch.
His Army, well known for their tactics in and outside of the ring. Already the Rampage has certainly stirred up fans in a number of centers. We have one unconfirmed report, and I'd like to get you to comment on it now, that members of the Army, including yourself, have been beating up on fans of the Maritimes.
Well, you know, the fans in the Maritimes want to take part of the matches. Hey, listen, if they get into the ring, they're going to get a licking. We're not going to go looking for trouble, but we're not going to back down from trouble either. Hey, we're a strong team. The Army's strong, and it's getting stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. And before the year's up, ask Leo Burke and the Beast and Big Stephen Pettipaw how strong the Army is.
Oh, stopping Paul Peller, mounting a strong attack here against Super B number 2. Super B number 2 is in there. And Peller seems to have some sort of chokehold. There's no question that's a choke, but Peller, as you have mentioned, Bob Brown, a crafty ring veteran, able to shield the choke away from the referee.
Oh, yeah, I'll tell you the truth, when Paul Peller's on,
well, the action now outside the ring. Super B number 2 is down on the cement floor. Paul Peller has tagged with Butcher Vachon. Super B number 2 is back in. Vachon will try the suplex, and that really has to hurt, especially when it's applied by the likes of Butcher Vachon. Body slam.
Oh, my
now
goodness.
Vachon will climb the ropes.
This is it right now.
This could be it. This could be it. Vachon going skyward. Here he comes. No! Super B number 2 avoiding that collision. Here's the tag. Peller's also coming in. Off the ropes goes Paul Peller. Drop kick. And down goes Peller. Vachon in to interfere. And he is sent flying. Paul Peller. Off the ropes again. Super B number 1. Vachon in to interfere otherwise.
What an exciting match this has turned out to be. Now the Bees are on the offense now.
Small package. Here's the small package. Vachon again interfering.
The match is over again.
The match is over.
I thought the shoulder was up.
Hard to tell from this angle. Hard to tell from this angle, but the Super B.
Cuban, you're not going to believe this. Your son's a natural.
Yeah?
Yeah, he did great.
Okay, then.
He's a natural.
Bet you got my ass kicked.
Huh?
Nothing. I'm gonna go shower.
Okay, then. Now, my dad trained me, but he only taught me the basic fundamentals and kind of like threw me out there secret and kind of swim type of deal. It was Leo Burke and Rotten Ron Starr who were my mentors, and I remember Rotten Ron Starr gave me some sound advice. He's the one that truly, what we call in the wrestling business, smartened up. He smartened me up, and I owe a lot to those two veterans, and they're both gone today, but I owe a lot to them, as well as my dad as well.
Richie.
Yeah.
When you get out there, I want you to hit him in the gut as hard as you can.
Yeah, right.
I mean it, as hard as you can.
I can't do anything. He keeps whipping my ass.
If you don't do it, when you get back here, I'm gonna whip your ass.
Hot tag to me.
So I'm taking the heat.
You're taking the heat. Men, boom to boom to boom, head to head.
Head to head.
You take one, I take one, pull together, they kiss. One takes powder, the other one I get in the sleeper hold. Referee checks his arm, match is over.
All right.
Now, after I was in Canada and wrestled as the Super B, I had quit wrestling and took some side jobs, and I actually joined the United States Marine Corps. Got kicked out of the United States Marine Corps, and I was still working some side jobs, and I was like, the heck with this, I'm going to go back into pro wrestling. So I went back into pro wrestling, and me going back, I had lost a lot of my muscle size from the training of the Marine Corps, because they have a weight limit. You have to be a certain weight for your height, and I was overweight as a muscle-bound freak. So I had to lose the weight in order to join the Marine Corps. But I was back into wrestling, and I was really thankful for it. So it led me to meet who will become my future ex-wife, and also the mother of my 2 children.
Side dive, which is a very patented maneuver by Marcus Dillon, but instead Dillon brings the Cuban in over that top rope. Dillon whips the Cuban across, sets him up, sidewalk slam. Dillon obviously showing the wares of the pounding he's taking in this contest. 2 counts, all Dillon's able to get here. You're watching, without a doubt, 2 of the best wrestlers in the world right now. Dillon, the heavyweight champion, the Cuban Commando, the light heavyweight champion, and they've been really giving it their all throughout this contest.
Get out, Marcus.
Obviously, the wear and tear starting to show on both individuals. Big uppercut by the Cuban. Series of left hands by the Cuban Commando. Big right hand just sent Marcus Dillon down. Wrestling fans, I'm telling you, this has been one of the more grueling bouts we've seen here in quite some time. Cuban trying to hold Marcus Dillon. My God, he just rammed his head into the canvas, and Dillon's not moving. Marcus Dillon just had his head rammed. Looked like Cuban was trying to set Dillon up for some kind of pile driving maneuver. And I ain't for sure. Maybe he lost his hold, but Dillon head rammed in that canvas, and there could be some serious damage here. Yeah, Dillon able to kick out of that pin attempt. It amazes me the abilities that some of these wrestlers have to take the shellacking and keep on coming back. You see Dillon unloading with a big discus punch there. Went to do it again, but the Cuban was already down. We are running out of time here on this week's presentation of the Back Alley Brawl. We just got about another minute to go. We're going to try to bring you all of this match. It's possible. Dillon setting him up for the high-low, brings him down. This could be a count of 1, count of 2. That's all he's going to get. There's the seat.
Is this all for you? Yeah. All right, 75 cents. Didn't I see you at the wrestling show Sunday?
My sister's seeing a guy named Lynn. He's a big fan. He goes every Sunday.
I thought I saw you talking with Tonto.
Yeah, we're kind of seeing each other.
He's a cool dude. Here's the key to the trailer. I'm scared too.
not long after April and I had met, we had gotten together and started seeing each other. And it wasn't too much longer that our son, Quentin Acevedo, was born on August 28th of 2000. Then on April 12th of 2001, April and I had gotten married at my church in Scarborough, West Virginia. And then around June 17th of 2003, we had our daughter, Madison Acevedo. And all of a sudden, we just happened to have a nice little family. It was just me, April, Quentin, and Madison. And I had my family, and I was happy. I was wrestling and working, and I had my family.
What's wrong?
I'm pregnant.
Are you gonna keep it?
Yes.
Well, don't worry. I'm gonna do whatever I can. Everything's gonna be okay.
I remember on the 1999 Legends Tour for Atlantic Grand Prix Wrestling, I got to live my childhood dream that I was always fascinated and daydreaming about being my dad's tag team partner. And I got to be my dad's tag team partner, so I got to live my dream, and it was such a thrill. And I remember tagging with my dad a lot, and actually being able to have a good time on that Legends Tour, especially when we got to get in the ring with Kirk and Robert Maé, who's instrumental in me becoming an actor as well, because he's a big-time actor in films and television as well. But yeah, it was the highlight of my life, being my dad's tag team partner. was going wrong in my life, it just all started tumbling down. It started off with the death of Chief Black Eagle, and then shortly after Chief Black Eagle was Mad Mike Allen. He dropped dead from a heart attack in the locker room right beside me. And then I go on tour and I'm getting injured. And the next thing you know, I tried to get my wife 8.0, and then she's making threats and finding somebody else. And then when I come back, I find out my marriage is over. And then shortly after that, my other best friend, Zach Worthington, who was a referee, Zach T. Maniac, was murdered. It was like everything was starting to fall apart on me all of a sudden. It was a very dark time in my life.
You pulled a muscle. You split your head open. I'm over here worrying about you, and if you don't come home soon, I'm gonna find a new boyfriend.
I know. I love you. We're gonna be home soon. Right?
Now, my wife was at the airport, but my plane was redirected, and when I had to come back in the next day, she wasn't there, and I had to find another way to get home. But my wife and myself, even though we were divorced, we stayed friends. Good friends to this day. This is the price you pay of being a professional wrestler. Pay to sacrifice your time with your family and your kids when your wife and kids are begging you not to leave, but you're going to leave to pursue a dream and try to make something of yourself in the sport of professional wrestling. But things did look up. Dad did come in to see my sister Cindy and myself, as well as my dad got to meet my son Quentin and my daughter Madison and my sister's son Anthony. My dad also stopped by to see the old host of Saturday Night Wrestling, Shirley Love, before Shirley had passed away. And then later on, my son would become a pro wrestler, and he and I would try to reform the Cuban Assassins, as well as my nephew also wrestled. And together, me, my nephew, and my son were the Cuban dynasty, but they both quit wrestling. And then later on, I would get involved in the movies and start acting, such as in films of Wrestle Massacre, and I would get involved in my own indie film work and do films such as The Mountaineer. Just think, all this started from when my dad was booked for WOI TV4 Saturday Night Wrestling, hosted by Shirley Love. But sadly, my mom had passed away on December 8th of 2023, and she was my main support and backed me up even if she didn't agree with me doing pro wrestling. And I got to have my last match on November 7th of 2024 with my good friend Joe Brody. So things did look up at the end.
Shocked and surprised as everybody right here in the Mountain State Sportatorium, because he's going to go one-on-one with Joe Brody. Hey, and Denny B, this thing's underway. No, I don't think Joe Brody hammering away. This man's been out of the ring for 10 years. 10 years. Oh, bell sounds, finally. Joe Brody is a house of fire. Oh, big thundering right hand. Haymakers. Cuban Assassins. Big Irish whip and a clothesline. Joe Brody is on fire. Cuban Assassins last match. Hey, he has one hell of a last opponent. Oh, big leg drop, and Joe Brody almost put the Cuban Assassin away. I didn't expect Joe Brody to come out at all, and none of these fans here in the Mountain State Sportatorium here. Oh man, big black elbow.
He deserves this.
Oh, and it's been about 10 years since Joe Brody has had a match. He looks better than ever before. I'm sure Tina Lou isn't happy about this.
But you know what?
what, I've been an opponent of the Cuban Assassins. I've been a partner of the Cuban Assassins. As much as we don't like each other, oh look, doing some cheap stuff right there. Referee Rob Smith don't see it. But as much as I dislike Cuban Assassins, it's sad to see you go, Timothy.
No wrestling last week. Found out how crap they are.
That is right. You did have your debut right here on Championship Wrestling against the Cuban Assassin last week. You got the big W. These two veterans in the ring, they like to call themselves grizzled old veterans. I like to call them legends because these men right here, over 30 years apiece in the ring. I'm telling you, oh, and the Cuban Assassin is the oldest streak in the book. One last time, and Joe Brody fighting from underneath with some shots from the red basket. Look, he's got him again with the spike. Legendary 35 years career up to Cuban. I'm telling you. Joe Brody may have bitten off a little bit more than he can chew, but he was on fire and he didn't have to do it. Joe Brody. I guess that he never stayed down. After you see some hard uppercuts to the midsection. Irish Smith and Joe Brody. Oh! Big knee. Oh! Big clothesline. Cuban Assassin one more time. Get these people powered up. They can take a little bit too much time. Here these USA champs coming from the fans here in the Mountain State Auditorium. Joe Brody, hard Irish Smith to the buckle. Oh, and he goes for the double axe handle. The Cuban moves out the way. Shot to the bread basket by the Cuban Assassin. Big right hand. Another big right hand. This is a barn burner. Never count Joe Brody or the Cuban Assassin. I tell you what, regardless of the outcome of this match, I would never in a million years thought that these two men, their age still didn't go the way that they go. Joe Brody with big haymakers to the dome assassin. Brody going up. He's up there. He's going for 10. 10 big ones from Joe Brody. The original ace. Oh. Got to go. I mean, it's been 35 years. That's over 70 years of experience in that ring right now. These two have never had a single match. They've been partners. They have never been in a single match. They've had tag matches. They have never won one-on-one. 35 years. And you talk about the Scotty, you talk about the great wrestlers of the great state of West Virginia. You got to mention both of these men right here. Both of these legends. These legends here in the Mountain State Auditorium putting on the classic. About 7. Joe style, but I'm telling you, he's looking better than I've ever seen him. One thing about Joe Brody, and him and his brother Mark both, God rest his soul, you don't have to put your hands on a Marine. And both of these men are Marines. Two devil dogs slugging it out. Oh yeah, that's 8 weeks. Two devil dogs slugging it out. Simplified style. He dropped down. Cuban Assassin. Oh! Double noggin knocker, and both men are down, DDP. Right now. Nina Lou is not happy. Weirdo Joe chant. The original ace, Joe Brody. And Cuban Assassin. Both men slowly but surely get back up to their feet. Cuban Assassin. Oh, Cuban Assassin. Oh, and he calls it. Joe Brody made it to his feet. Joe Brody, the winner of the match. And I'm going to tell you right now, that was a barn burner.